Every supply chain leader eventually faces the same question. Where is the system exposed, and how do we identify the failure before it happens? On paper, the organization appears solid. You have hired experienced talent, hit quarterly targets, and built a roster that looks secure from the outside. That confidence is often supported by highly visible, measurable outputs, such as precise forecasting algorithms and daily execution that runs on a consistent schedule. Yet, despite that daily precision, overall performance can still lag. Timelines begin to slip, profit margins thin out, and systemic risks increase. A supply chain functions like a load-bearing structure. If massive strength concentrates in one area while another remains thin, it creates structural asymmetry. Execution proficiency cannot compensate for lacking support in other pillars. Under pressure, this imbalance creates destructive torque at the weakest joints. Over-indexing on hard operational metrics while ignoring these structural gaps turns a team's greatest strengths into a liability. Locating these weak points requires looking past the hard data to find the dark data, the invisible skill gaps causing a system to crack when stressed. One critical vulnerability often lies in high-level negotiation. Without the ability to structure complex, long-term vendor agreements, cost controls steadily erode. Low systemic resilience is another gap. A team that cannot absorb and rebound from sudden market disruptions will see a single logistics bottleneck cascade into a total operational freeze. The third gap is the inability to influence stakeholders. If the team cannot align internal departments and external partners toward a shared goal, strategic plans remain stalled. These unmeasured qualitative skills are the exact structural weak points where catastrophic operational risk enters the supply chain. Correcting structural failures requires a precise mechanism to see the complete architectural picture of the team. Capability mapping provides a diagnostic X-ray for organizational design, making those invisible dynamics visible. This chart plots the team's current skill sets against necessary operational loads. The assessment identifies genuine, load-bearing strengths, like forecasting and execution. Simultaneously, the map exposes specific skill gaps dragging down performance, clearly showing deficits in negotiation and resilience. Capability mapping takes hidden vulnerabilities and turns them into quantifiable datasets that a leader can actively correct. Addressing these map deficits requires a structural redesign, moving the focus from individual skill building to the architecture of the team itself. This involves rebuilding the team's architecture to align with business goals. New support struts are added to the weak side until the structure is symmetrical. When pressure is applied, the load distributes evenly across every pillar, preventing any single point from failing. Systemic resilience is a direct byproduct of this balance. A team proficient in negotiation restructures commitments during a crisis, while high-influence leaders align stakeholders before market shocks freeze operations. This holistic balance increases the team's capacity for faster, data-driven decision-making. The workforce evolves from a source of hidden liability into a calibrated operational asset. Identifying and correcting these imbalances establishes a permanent strategic advantage that remains stable long after specific risks are mitigated.